You get to know the absolute truth about one historical event. What are you choosing? Beginning of everything. I would like to see what exactly happened to cause a bottleneck in human population approximately 12,000 years ago. Apparently the event was the origin of our oldest mythological stories. What the fuck is actually up with the Voynich manuscript? I want to know the real story of Jesus. The man. Like, I have a pretty good idea but still want to know. Theology aside, he is a pretty interesting historical figure. The beginning of life on Earth. D.B. Cooper. The beginning of everything, like. Why is there something instead of nothing? The truth about Jack the Ripper and the Whitechapel murders. Who the Zodiac Killer was. The real identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. Amelia Earhart's disappearance. Malaysian Airlines MH370. Bronze Age collapse, because I want to know who the Sea People were. How many vampires Abraham Lincoln actually killed. The burning of the Library of Alexandria. First thing that came to mind is the Dyatlov Pass incident. Also Project MK Ultra would be interesting. Oak Island. I'm getting fucking tired of Oh Look Marty. More wood. I'm a historian and I stumble across old crimes and spy shit all the time. But of course never have the full story. I want to know about the Mexican spy ring operating in Juarez against the Confederates in 1861. All I have to go on is one retelling of how the spy ring worked. Who led it? And a couple of names. A testimony from the ringleader about the character of the Confederate double agent on the inside. And a few contextual facts that seem to confirm the story. Basically the efforts of one double agent. One of the wealthiest men in the Southwest. And 5 Mexicans gave the Union so much intelligence on the Confederacy's buildup to push into the West that the Union stalled them later at Glorieta Pass. I may find more as I go along, but I consider myself lucky to have stumbled across what I did. Also, there's a guy who served as a spy for the US in Moscow. Married Stalin's favorite ballerina. Got expelled for marrying Stalin's favorite ballerina. Served as a spy for the U.S. in the Philippines. Married a Filipina, and for the rest of his life. Then worked for a Hollywood producer funneling studio investment funds into the Franco regime using Charlton Heston as a front. The producer got caught but the spy didn't. I found him while researching an associate who fled Odessa while smuggled aboard the same merchant marine vessel. Who actually killed JFK? Not historical per se, but I need to know what actually happened to Madeleine McCann. Rudolf Hess's flight to Scotland. The official story is dodge from start to finish. It's not a historical event exactly. But I want to find out where my great-grandfather was buried. He died during the Second World War and was buried somewhere in Italy. My grandpa has been trying to find him desperately after making a promise to my great-grandmother. But he doesn't have long left. I really want my grandfather to be able to pass on in peace. How the Trojan War really looked like or played out. Because I'm a NASCAR nut. Who L.W. Wright was. For those who don't know. In 1982 a man named L.W. Wright bought a stock car and entered the Winston 500 at Talladega Superspeedway. He qualified 36th and ran a total of 13 laps before the officials disqualified him for being too slow. He then parked his car, walked to the garage, and disappeared. There's no record of an L.W. Wright ever existing. To this day no one knows who the man was, where he got the money to buy a car, and why he entered a NASCAR race. He's the D.B. Cooper of NASCAR. Edit. Okay. Stay calm. It's happening. The Scene Vault podcast just claimed that they found L.W. Wright and are going to be interviewing him on their podcast on Monday. What all those random clowns were doing a few years ago. What was really in Al Capone's vault? Jesus Christ. So, I'm not religious anymore. But Jesus was a real guy. Most people across the board agree. So I would love to go back and see him. Watch people interact with him. And see who turned his death into a religious path. What is the Baghdad battery used for? How this guy Moai appeared. Princess Diana's death. And I want receipts. Biggie, Tupac murders. The disappearance of Brian Schaefer. How Elizabeth Short actually died. And who the murderer was. The dudes who escaped Alcatraz. And whether they really made it or not, plus how. Nietzsche's writings before his sister shat all over them with her Nazism. The missing minutes of the Nixon tapes. All of the unrecorded, poorly recorded sub-Saharan African history. John Bonet. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.